Trenbolone is already considered one of the most powerful and dangerous anabolic steroids in existence, with even moderate doses, 300 to 500 mg per week, carrying severe risks. At 1,500 mg per week, a dose that borders on pharmacological insanity, the body is subjected to a catastrophic overload of synthetic hormones, leading to near-guaranteed organ damage, psychological breakdown, and potentially fatal consequences. This video explores what happens when someone pushes Trenbolone to this extreme, detailing both the futile pursuit of muscle growth and the inevitable physical and mental collapse that follows. Muscle growth at the cost of systemic failure. At 1,500 mg per week, Trenbolone's anabolic effects are pushed into toxic territory. Theoretically, such an extreme dose should maximize muscle protein synthesis and nitrogen retention, leading to freakish gains in size and strength. However, the reality is far grimmer. The body cannot sustain this level of artificial stimulation without breaking down. Instead of continuous growth, users often hit a point of diminishing returns where muscle gains plateau while side effects accelerate. The extreme strain on the cardiovascular system, liver, and kidneys means that any short-term muscle accumulation is overshadowed by systemic damage. Many bodybuilders who have experimented with doses this high report that the physical toll makes consistent training impossible. Crippling pumps, joint pain, and extreme fatigue negate any potential benefits. Metabolic chaos and uncontrollable fat loss. Trenbolone is a potent fat-burning agent, but at 1,500 mg per week, its metabolic effects spiral out of control. The drug hyperstimulates the metabolism, forcing the body into a state of perpetual catabolism. Users often find themselves losing fat at an unsustainable rate, to the point where essential body fat drops to dangerously low levels. This extreme leanness comes at the cost of muscle wasting, as the body begins breaking down muscle tissue for energy despite the steroid's presence. Blood sugar regulation becomes erratic, with severe insulin resistance leading to energy crashes, intense cravings, and a risk of diabetic complications. The metabolic stress is so severe that some users report feeling constantly cold, a sign that their body is struggling to maintain basic homeostasis. Androgenic overload, physical and hormonal ruin. Trenbolone's androgenic strength is 5 times that of testosterone, and at 1,500 mg per week, its effects on the body are nothing short of destructive. Acne erupts across the back, chest, and face, often progressing to cystic levels that leave permanent scarring. Hair loss accelerates at an alarming rate, with those genetically predisposed to male pattern baldness losing most of their hair within weeks. Body hair growth becomes excessive, and some users report a thickening of the skin and a coarsening of facial features, changes that are often irreversible. The prostate swells to dangerous levels, causing urinary obstruction, pain, and a dramatically increased risk of prostate cancer. The androgenic burden also triggers excessive sebum production, leading to oily skin and scalp conditions that become chronic. Cardiovascular catastrophe. A heart under siege. The cardiovascular system is perhaps the most vulnerable to the effects of 1,500 mg Trenbolone per week. Blood pressure skyrockets into hypertensive crisis territory, 180/110 mmHg or higher, placing unbearable strain on the heart. Left ventricular hypertrophy. The thickening of the heart wall develops rapidly, increasing the risk of heart failure. The blood itself becomes dangerously thick due to excessive red blood cell production, raising the likelihood of strokes, pulmonary embolisms, and heart attacks. Cholesterol profiles are annihilated, with HDL, good cholesterol, near zero, and LDL, bad cholesterol, at life-threatening levels. Autopsies of bodybuilders who abused Trenbolone at extreme doses reveal advanced atherosclerosis, with coronary arteries resembling those of elderly lifelong smokers. The risk of sudden cardiac death becomes a very real possibility, even in young, otherwise healthy individuals. Neurological and psychological meltdown. Trenbolone is infamous for its neurotoxic effects, and at 1,500 mg per week, the psychological damage is profound. Tren rage escalates into full-blown psychotic episodes, with users experiencing uncontrollable aggression, paranoia, and violent outbursts. Mood swings become so severe that they mimic bipolar disorder, with periods of mania followed by crushing depression. Insomnia is universal, with many users unable to sleep for days at a time, leading to hallucinations and delirium. Some report persistent auditory and visual disturbances, suggesting Trenbolone may have neurotoxic effects similar to amphetamines or other stimulants. The mental toll is so extreme that relationships collapse, careers are destroyed, and suicidal ideation becomes common. Long-term users at these doses often report permanent changes in personality, with increased aggression and emotional instability persisting even after discontinuation. Total endocrine system collapse. At 1,500 mg per week, Trenbolone shuts down natural testosterone production completely and permanently. Without exogenous testosterone, users will experience castrate-level low testosterone, zero libido, erectile dysfunction, muscle atrophy, and bone density loss. Even with testosterone replacement therapy, TRT, recovery of natural function is nearly impossible. The hypothalamic pituitary testicular axis, HPTA, is so severely suppressed that many users remain sterile for life. The adrenal glands also suffer, leading to chronic fatigue and an inability to handle stress. Thyroid function is often disrupted, causing metabolic slowdown and further complicating recovery. The endocrine damage at this dose is often irreversible, leaving users dependent on hormone replacement for the rest of their lives. Liver and kidney failure, a toxic overload. While Trenbolone is not a 17-alpha alkylated steroid, meaning it's not as liver toxic as oral steroids, 1,500 mg per week is still enough to cause severe hepatic stress. Liver enzymes, AST and ALT, rise to alarming levels, indicating acute liver damage. In some cases, jaundice develops, a sign that the liver is failing to process toxins. The kidneys, already strained by extreme blood pressure and dehydration from excessive sweating, are pushed to their limits. Proteinuria, excess protein in urine, and hematuria, blood in urine, are common, signaling glomerular damage. Cases of acute kidney injury and even dialysis dependence have been reported in bodybuilders using Trenbolone at these doses. Respiratory and thermoregulatory nightmares, Tren cough, the infamous side effect where users experience violent, suffocating coughing fits after injection, becomes a frequent and life-threatening ordeal at 1,500 mg per week. The cough is caused by Trenbolone entering the lungs, triggering a pulmonary vasoconstriction response that feels like drowning. Some users report coughing up blood or passing out from lack of oxygen during these episodes. Additionally, Trenbolone's thermogenic effects become unbearable. Core body temperature rises to dangerous levels, leading to heat intolerance, chronic dehydration, and electrolyte imbalances. Night sweats are so extreme that users wake up drenched, sometimes multiple times per night, leading to severe sleep deprivation. The inevitable outcome, death or permanent disability. There is no scenario in which 1,500 mg of Trenbolone per week is sustainable or survivable long-term. The few bodybuilders who have experimented with doses this high either died young from heart attacks, suffered permanent organ damage, or were forced to quit after their bodies gave out. The pursuit of extreme muscle growth at this cost is not just reckless, it is a form of self-destruction. The trade-off is simple: temporary, diminishing returns in muscle size in exchange for a broken heart, a damaged brain, and a shortened lifespan. Conclusion: a dose no one should ever take. 1,500 mg of Trenbolone per week is not a bodybuilding strategy, it is a death wish. The human body is not designed to withstand this level of synthetic hormonal abuse, and the consequences are as predictable as they are tragic. Every major system, cardiovascular, neurological, endocrine, hepatic, and renal, is pushed to the brink of failure. The psychological toll alone is enough to ruin lives. For those considering Trenbolone at any dose, this extreme serves as a warning: the pursuit of an inhuman physique at the cost of one's health is a Faustian bargain with no winners. No amount of muscle is worth a destroyed heart, a broken mind, or an early grave. Responsible steroid use requires respecting limits, prioritizing health, and understanding that some lines should never be crossed. 1,500 mg of Trenbolone per week is one of those lines, a dose that belongs in the realm of horror stories, not in real-world practice.